Imagine stepping onto an NFL field where defenders could slap you in the helmet, receivers had superglue on their hands, and players could hide phones in the goalposts to celebrate touchdowns. Sounds crazy, right? But not long ago, these things were completely normal in the NFL. Some moves were so dangerous, they ended careers. Some tricks were so unfair, they broke the game. And some celebrations were so wild, the league had to step in and say, enough. From the brutal head slap to the sticky scandal of Stickum and the tackle that literally broke legs, the NFL has banned dozens of things that once defined the game, and some of them were used by the biggest legends in football history. So today, we're diving into the most shocking things the NFL had to ban forever. But before we start, if you love football history, crazy NFL stories, and behind-the-scenes controversies, make sure you hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video.
The head slap. Let's start with one of the most savage techniques in football history, a move so brutal it literally scrambled offensive linemen. It was called the head slap, and it was exactly what it sounds like. A defensive lineman slapping an offensive lineman on the side of the helmet with full force. Nobody did it better than Deacon Jones. Deacon was a Hall of Fame pass rusher with a mean streak. He said the head slap was about two things: getting the lineman's hands down and messing with his mind. The slap would rattle players. They'd lose balance, lose track of assignments, and some said it literally left them seeing stars. Jones once explained it like this: you take all the fight out of a man when you hit him with violence before he even gets set. The move became so effective that younger defensive players started copying it. For a while, the league let it slide, because this was the 60s and 70s, an era where violence was practically part of the marketing. But then came the brain studies, the concussions, and the post-career trauma. Suddenly, the NFL realized maybe letting 280-pound men slap each other in the earhole every play wasn't such a great idea. So in 1977, the move was banned. Today, it's considered illegal hands to the face, a 15-yard penalty, and Deacon's iconic move was retired forever. But ask any old-school lineman, and they'll tell you, you never forgot the first time you got slapped by Deacon Jones.
The NFL has always hated losing control, and in the early 2000s, touchdown celebrations were getting out of hand. The moment that broke the league happened in 2003 when Joe Horn scored a touchdown for the New Orleans Saints. He ran to the goalpost padding, pulled out a hidden flip phone, dialed it, pretended to take a call, and walked away like nothing happened. The NFL completely lost its mind. Horn was fined $30,000. But he wasn't the only one pushing boundaries. Terrell Owens once pulled a Sharpie from his sock, signed the football, and handed it to a fan. He also celebrated on the Cowboys star logo and even mimed using pom-poms from a cheerleader. Every week it was something new. So the NFL cracked down. No props, no objects, no pre-planned celebrations. It became known as the No Fun League era. Players could spike the ball. That was about it. Anything more? Flag, fine, lecture. The rules have loosened in recent years. Players can dance, celebrate with teammates, and even perform group routines. But props are still banned. And if you hide a phone in the goalpost padding today, you'd better be ready to lose a big chunk of your paycheck.
One of the most terrifying tackles in football history was the horse collar. Imagine running full speed while a defender grabs the inside of your shoulder pads from behind and yanks you backward. Your knees buckle, your ankles twist, you slam to the ground. No one used this tackle more effectively than Roy Williams. He made it his signature move. But things changed when Terrell Owens suffered a broken leg after being horse-collared during a game. That was the tipping point. In 2005, the NFL banned the tackle. Now, grabbing and pulling a player down by the inside collar of their pads is an automatic 15-yard penalty. It was one of the first major rule changes created specifically for player safety.
Kickoff returns used to be absolute chaos. Return teams would form a wedge, 3 or 4 massive linemen shoulder to shoulder sprinting upfield like a human snowplow. Their job was simple: clear a path for the returner. If you were on the coverage team, your job was even simpler: run straight into the wall. The collisions were brutal. Helmets flew, spines compressed, concussions skyrocketed. By the late 2000s, the NFL had a serious problem.
So in 2009, the league banned the wedge block. Now, only 2 players can form a wedge during kickoff returns. It was one of the first steps toward making kickoffs safer and possibly phasing them out entirely.
For years, the NFL was obsessed with keeping uniforms clean and standardized, which meant banning almost anything that allowed players to show personality. In the 1980s, Jim McMahon started wearing headbands with logos and slogans. One even mocked NFL Commissioner Pete Rozelle. The league fined him repeatedly. Eventually, they banned writing, logos, or messages on headbands entirely. Later, Chad Johnson tried wearing a jersey with Ocho Cinco on the back before legally changing his name. The NFL said it violated uniform font rules. If it wasn't part of the official uniform kit, it was illegal. You could throw a 50-yard touchdown, but heaven forbid your headband had the wrong logo.
For decades, the NFL had strict rules about jersey numbers. Quarterbacks wore numbers 1 through 19, running backs wore 20 to 49, receivers were 10 through 19 or 80 through 89. It made it easier for referees to identify eligible receivers, but it also killed player style. Players coming from college had to give up their favorite numbers. That changed in 2021 when the NFL relaxed the rules. Now, wide receivers, defensive backs, running backs, and even linebackers can wear single-digit numbers. Old school fans hate it, but jersey sales skyrocketed, and that's what really matters to the league.
Nothing screams old-school football like the one-bar face mask. It was basically a curved metal bar across the front of the helmet. It offered almost no protection. You could literally fit your entire fist through it. Players loved it because it gave them better vision, especially kickers and punters. But safety concerns grew over time. In 2004, the NFL banned the one-bar face mask for new players. Veterans who already used it were allowed to keep wearing it until they retired. The last player to use one in the NFL was Scott Player, who wore it until 2009. When he retired, the one-bar face mask disappeared from the league forever.
In the old days, teams supplied their own footballs. They didn't just bring them, they prepared them. Balls could be scuffed, softened, or slightly deflated to improve grip. Quarterbacks like Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers were famous for preferring certain conditions. Then came Deflategate. During the 2014 AFC Championship game, Brady was accused of using underinflated footballs. The investigation became one of the biggest scandals in NFL history. Then came the rules. Now, every game ball is inspected, logged, and provided by the NFL itself.
The NFL has always had a strange relationship with trash talk. They love rivalries and mic'd-up moments, but celebrate a little too hard after a play, and you might get flagged for taunting. The rule has existed for years, but enforcement intensified in 2021. Players were getting penalized for flexing, pointing, or waving goodbye after big plays. Fans hated it. Critics said the league was policing personality. The NFL insisted it was about sportsmanship.
Ever notice that most NFL players don't wear dark visors? That's because they were banned for decades. The reason is simple. Trainers need to see a player's eyes after a hit. Eye movement helps determine whether someone has suffered a concussion. Dark visors block that view. Players can wear clear or lightly tinted ones, but anything too dark requires a medical exemption. Even stars like Odell Beckham Jr. and Saquon Barkley have been warned about visor violations. Yes, the NFL even regulates the size of your towel. Players used to tuck huge towels into their belts. Defenders could grab them like handles. Some players soaked them with water or mud to change grip. So the league stepped in. Now towels must be league-issued, worn in a specific position, and kept within strict dimensions. Even something as small as a towel is controlled.